Buongiorno. I am Professor Pallikaris from Crete Island, Greece. I was born there, and I spent most of my career in the University of Crete as head of the department, president of the medical school, and then rector of the university for 7 years. So I study in Switzerland as ophthalmologist, spent there 7 years, and currently I'm working in University of Crete in my institution, which is the Institution of Vision and Optics in the university. Actually, my very first, let's say, interest in ophthalmology was actually refractive related sciences with astigmatism induced by keratoconic patient and the analysis of video keratography using the Placido disc. It was almost like 40 years back. 1997. No, 1970. Yeah. Coming back from my PhD in Greece, I was working with vitreoretinal surgery. This is probably a surprise for everybody who knows me. But I was working 5 years very hard on vitreoretinal surgery. And then late 80s, when I went to the University of Crete as the head of the department, I started refractive surgery again. So since that time, I'm involved mainly anterior segment and more specifically with refractive surgery and cornea and cataract. I believe that the most well-known contribution from me in ophthalmology is the LASIK technology. I developed this technology late 80s, more precisely 1989 I've done my first studies. In 1990 I've done the first patient in the university. Since then it was a huge development of the area, and of course I'm very proud because today LASIK is one from the standard worldwide procedures, and I believe is the most frequent surgery in the human eye, by the way. So of course I spend a lot of time looking for different things. One from my invention is ray tracing technology to trace the optics of the human eye, which was started in 1992. Today, the eye trace is a very well-known technology and is very often used to the analysis of the quality of the visual optics of the eye from many companies. I developed the rotating brush to remove the epithelium. This is not a big, let's say, invention, but it's a very practical one because most of the people, they're using the brush today to remove the epithelium for PRK, of course. I developed later on, around 2000, EpiLASIK. EpiLASIK was very popular in the beginning. Just keep in mind that almost all the manufacturers, they had microkeratome. They redesigned the microkeratomes to make EpiLASIK also. This technology finally has not succeeded for several reasons. And of course, this was not the only one. By the way, it's very well known that the last 25, 30 years, so many new technologies come in, and many of them, after a couple of years, they are not working. So this is, let's say, a common phenomenon in our modern technology, in ophthalmology, and in medicine in general, I think. So I have been involved in other things, not too much related to the refractive, like the understand of ocular rigidity and the ocular hydrodynamics. So we have done a lot of really very impressive studies the last 20 years in the university, study the hydrodynamics and the rigidity of the eye in general, and how this rigidity may affect many pathologies on the eye. Of course, later on, everybody discovered biomechanics, biodynamics of the eye, but this was an area which I've been involved a lot, and I like very much this type of science also. So there are many other things that I don't really like to tell right now. I mean, so from the technology point of view, this is my contribution to ophthalmology, but I think one of the most important contribution in ophthalmology was servicing in the first years in the board of ISR at the time, introducing pulp technology, and then later on as the president of ESCRS, and the latest, probably, and most important part of my life, not as an ophthalmologist, but as a human being, is that we are spending a lot of time to offer services in isolated areas, in remote villages, in many places in Greece. And the last couple of years, we started a very nice project with ESRS for the refugees, and we set up a very modern mobile unit which has almost all the latest state-of-the-art equipment. And we are visiting the islands and help these, let's say, new European citizens. And I know Italy, for example, how sensitive it is in that issue, like Greece, because we are the very first country that we are exposed, let's say, to this problem. And probably does not make so much sense for the Portuguese, for example, what's happening with the refugees in our places. But again, this is the humanitarian phase for me, and I think this is what gives me the most, let's say, happiness, and I think this is for great value, what I do. My master was Professor Whitmer in Zurich. When I was decided to go in Zurich, it was around 75, 76. Not speaking German at that time, I decided to ask for a job. And you know how difficult it is to get a job in Switzerland anyway. But this professor, the German, was a very open-minded person. He adopted me with my family. He gave me any support. And I think if you ask me what is for me the best model for a university clinic, was the clinic of Professor Whitmer of that time. Just I like to mention a few names that were in the clinic that period. Whitmer was the chief, was done cornea transplantation and anterior segment. Professor Clety was the vitreoretinal guy, which was the European, let's say, Macumer at that period, developed new technology for vitreoretinal surgery. Professor Martinet, she was medical retina, first application of argon laser at that period. Professor Lang, who was later on was the president of the European Society of Strabismus and Pediatric Ophthalmology. Professor Hart, was later on also the president of the European Society of Plastic Surgery. So it was really a unique environment for ophthalmology to become a junior ophthalmologist. And those people, they gave me, let's say, a lot of support to start with. And of course, I remember just that time we've done many times some jokes between us as residents, and because I was involved a lot with micro instruments and play. I mean, the Greek guy, they said, somebody told me once, you become a professor at university. I said, no, that is not my intention in my life to become a professor. But he was right. Finally, I made it. Besides all, let's say, the research and the excitement to make new things and to be innovative and on, I think my first priority was all the time to educate people. And I said that one because it was a kind of revenge somehow for me, because when I went in Zurich in '75 as a Greek doctor, I was actually, let's say, like an immigrant in this country, and it was very heavy and difficult, somebody from Greece to go in Europe and be adopted and have his, education. And then I've done a promise that time when I came in Zurich. I said to myself, I will be here, I will be educated, and my promise, my challenge is to have the Swiss doctors come back to me to be educated from me. And this has happened actually, because in the golden time of LASIK between 90s, 2010, we have started to make the mini fellowship in the University of Crete. They passed several hundred of foreign doctors from my clinic. And a few of them, they were from Switzerland. They came for 2-3 years for a fellowship. And today they are also very prominent ophthalmologists in Switzerland. But not only there, of course. Around the world they came and greet many people. And I think that my Greek fellows, let's say, they have been exposed a lot because of that to the international community. Because they have a chance to interact with all these people they came in Crete at the beginning, and because of every year we have a big summer meeting, one from retina, the other for cornea, with working together with very famous schools like Boston University, Harvard, McDonald, people, very famous people. So I think if you ask me for this direction, what was my achievement, I think it was the one that internationalized Greek ophthalmology, and I gave the chance to young generations to be more involved on the international level. And you're absolutely right. I mean, I think my major achievement is that one in my life today, that I have people that are out there everywhere and very well accepted. For this question to be answered, we need another couple of days to have an interview, really, because, first of all, I love nature. I say that nature inspires me every moment, and all my new ideas that came when I'm exposed somewhere in the natural environment. I'm a person that I understand a lot of physics and engineering, besides the fact that I never studied that one. But I think it's a gift for God to me to have a very, let's say, easy understanding of what's happening around me, and to translate, let's say, physical phenomenon solution for the needs of my profession, like medicine or ophthalmology or whatever. But also nature inspired me to think about myself and to concentrate more inside me, and Of course, this is more, let's say, intensive the last years, because when you become older, you spend more time to look inside you. And I have several, let's say, hobbies related to that, and I like to spend my time on the sea. I'm a sailor. I have joined in Greece sailing clubs for the children at schools. I like climbing on the mountains. I like skiing. I like hunting, and I like painting. I was painting a lot when I was younger. I make a stop for the last couple of years. Now I start again. So I'm doing some sculpturing also, using glaze. And I like also agricultural life. I mean, I spend a lot of time outdoors in my land. Just to tell you, what I eat is almost my own product in my life. My bread is from my own land, with my hands. My olives for me, my wine is for me, my vegetables for me. I have 3 horses, 2 dogs. And every morning I open up my eyes in my house. I have around me orange trees, very nice garden, summer and winter, with several vegetables. So, natural life. I don't know if the innovation I have in my mind now will be the same tomorrow, because every day I have another one. I say the truth, when I'm dreaming all the time, I'm dreaming new things sometimes. But I think one of my latest, let's say, targets, which looks to me very, very, really interesting. One is I developed what I call the peripheral capsule reconstructor. That means this is just a special ring. We reconstruct the capsule of the lens when we remove the IOL, the lens. And it's a safe environment to put your new IOL. It's very important for the ELP position of the lenses, for the PCO, and for all these modern, say, premium lenses. It's very important to have really a steady place to put the IOL inside the eye, which makes sense. Not having PCO problems, of course, and helping also the whole volume of the eye. But this is more technical, let's say. I think the most challenging technique I have developed, and now I'm running this project today in the preliminary stage. I came to the idea that I can remold the cornea using a special material and give an absolute spherical shape to the cornea. And then based on this new cornea, let's say absolute spherical surface, I can generate intrastromal lenses like SMILE, but there are custom SMILEs, which means this technology can make an eye absolute spheric without any irregularities, even fine irregularities. And it's a technology which does not need any sophisticated, let's say, nomograms or topographies or wavefront analyzers, nothing. It's a single technology based on contact lens fit of the cornea, and just like I remodel the cornea, and I work on this new remodeled cornea to do my surgery. It makes sense, I think. I'm very excited about it. Probably, I say this is the absolute refractive correction, as I said. I would like to say that the humanity face now a period with the time is running very fast. I mean, before we're thinking of something, this has been happened already. You know, which means no predictions can be made today based in technology what's happening tomorrow. All right. On the other side, what we face the last, let's say, 50 years, which where we have so very fast development in technology and in science and in the human knowledge, we realize very often that many of these new inventions and ideas where the companies spend a lot of money, where a lot of business around, where the doctors spend a lot of time, they are no sense. They are not working, right? So I can tell you tenths of technologies they came in the market in the last 20 years, and 3-4 years later, they were not out anymore, all right? So it's difficult today to discover something which lasts for long. Because something else was discovered the day after, okay? And I mean technology like cataract surgery, for example, which has been discovered with IOL 47, all right? Or LASIK, for example. LASIK lasted for at least 30 years. Today, this year, we have 30 years celebration in Crete in the summer in the G cornea meeting. But what I would like to say that is, beside all these efforts to learn about the high-end technology to be used on the eye, the real world and the real needs, probably they are not so high. I will say that the human vision as a function and not as a visual system, and not as an optical system, let's say, does not need so much details, you know. And when we say, for example, we like to make an emmetropic eye, the most difficult part on that point is to identify what is emmetropia. Emmetropia is what? Even the dictionaries, they give a false, let's say, description, you know. So coming back, emmetropia is something which has to be within the meter of the human level, let's say, wisdom. And this comes back to the ancient philosophers, what means metron, what means the middle, and I'm insisting a lot on that. And this philosophy has to be used every day when we have in front of us our patient, and to understand better our patient needs, to understand the practical need of a visual function, in order to go very deep and look, let's say, high-end details and very precise system, because in every day we don't need it somehow. So don't forget, this is a message for the new doctors, that the most important thing that you have to know is the touch with the patient and understanding the patient needs. So first of all, we have to hear our patient, what they are looking for, and then we have to convince them what we like to do for them.